In Part A of Chapter 10, we looked at magazine advertising. Now I'd like to look at newspapers. Newspapers, as you know, offer advertisers many advantages. One of the most important is timeliness. An ad can appear very quickly, sometimes in just one day. Newspapers also offer geographic targeting, a broad range of markets, reasonable cost, and more. But newspapers suffer from a lack of selectivity, poor production quality, and clutter. And readers criticize them for lack of depth and follow-up on important issues. A daily newspaper is published as either a morning or evening edition at least 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Of the 1,331 dailies in the United States, 402 are evening papers and 953 are morning papers. Morning editions tend to have broader geographic circulation and a larger male readership. Evening editions are read more by women. The trend for over a decade has been toward morning publications and away from evening. With their emphasis on local news and advertising, weekly newspapers characteristically serve small urban or suburban residential areas and farm communities. A weekly newspaper's cost per thousand is usually higher than a daily paper's, but a weekly has a longer life and often has more readers per copy. There are 2 basic newspaper formats, standard size and tabloid. The standard size newspaper is about 22 inches deep and 13 inches wide and is divided into 6 columns. The tabloid newspaper is generally about 17 inches deep and 11 inches wide. Newspapers used to offer about 400 different size ads, but in 1984 the industry introduced the Standard Advertising Unit, or SAU system, which standardized the newspaper column width, page sizes, and ad sizes. An SAU column inch is 2 1/16 inches wide by 1 inch deep. There are now 56 standard ad sizes for standard papers and 32 for tabloids. Virtually all dailies converted to the SAU system, and so did most weeklies. Some dailies and weeklies serve special interest audiences, a fact not lost on advertisers. They generally contain advertising oriented to their special audiences, and they may have unique advertising regulations. Some serve specific ethnic markets. Today, a number of dailies and weeklies are oriented to the African American community, and others serve foreign language groups. The most common non-English language in newspapers is Spanish in Spanish language editions. The United States has 923 Sunday newspapers, mostly Sunday editions of daily papers, with a combined circulation of nearly 42 million. Most Sunday newspapers also feature a Sunday supplement magazine. Display advertising includes copy, illustrations or photos, headlines, coupons, and other visual components. Display ads vary in size and appear in all sections of the newspaper except the first page of major sections, the editorial page, the obituary page, and the classified advertising section. One common variation of the display ad, the reading notice or advertorials, looks like editorial matter and sometimes costs more than normal display advertising. To prevent readers from mistaking it for editorial matter, the word advertisement appears at the top. Retailers often run newspaper ads through cooperative or co-op advertising programs, sponsored by the manufacturers whose products they sell. The manufacturer pays fully or partially to create and run the ad, which features the manufacturer's product and logo along with the local retailer's name and address. Classified ads provide a community marketplace for goods, services, and opportunities of every type, from real estate and new car sales to employment and business opportunities. A newspaper's profitability often relies heavily on a large and healthy classified section. However, newspapers have been hit hard by the migration of classified ads to websites like Craigslist and Monster.com. Classified ads are typically based on how many lines the ad occupies and how many times the ad runs. Some newspapers accept classified display ads, which run in the classified section of the newspaper, but feature larger type and/or photos, art borders, and sometimes even color. For a nominal fee, newspapers carry legal public notices of changes in business and personal relationships, public governmental reports, notices by private citizens and organizations, and financial reports. These ads follow a preset format. Like magazines, newspapers carry pre-printed inserts. The advertiser prints the inserts and delivers them to the newspaper plant for insertion into a specific edition. Insert sizes range from a typical newspaper page to a double postcard. Formats include catalogs, brochures, mailback devices, and perforated coupons. Like the magazine rate card, the newspaper rate card lists advertising rates, mechanical and copy requirements, deadlines, and other information. Because rates vary greatly, advertisers should calculate which papers deliver the most readers and the best demographics for their money. Most newspapers charge local and national advertisers at different rates. The national rate is usually significantly higher. Newspapers attribute higher rates to the added costs of serving national advertisers. Many national papers charge flat rates, which means they allow no discounts. A few newspapers offer a single flat rate to both national and local advertisers. Newspapers that offer volume discounts have an open rate, which is their highest rate for a one-time insertion, and contract rates, whereby local advertisers can obtain discounts of up to 70% by signing a contract for frequent or bulk space purchases. Bulk discounts offer advertisers decreasing rates as they use more inches. Advertisers earn frequency discounts by running a given ad repeatedly in a specific time period. Similarly, advertisers can sometimes get earned rates, a discount which applies retroactively as the volume of advertising increases throughout the year. An advertiser who contracts to buy a specific amount of space during a one-year period at a discount and then fails to fulfill the promise is charged a short rate, which is the difference between the contracted rate and the earned rate for the actual inches run. Conversely, an advertiser who buys more inches than contracted may be entitled to a rebate or credit. Combination rates are often available for placing a given ad in the morning and evening editions of the same newspaper, or for two or more newspapers owned by the same publisher, or, in some cases, two or more newspapers affiliated in a syndicate or newspaper group. Run of paper, ROP advertising rates, entitle a newspaper to place a given ad on any newspaper page or in any position it desires. Although the advertiser has no control over where the ad appears in the paper, most newspapers try to place an ad in the position the advertiser requests. An advertiser can ensure a choice position for an ad by paying a higher preferred position rate. The preferred position near the top of a page or the top of a column next to reading matter is called full position. It's usually surrounded by reading matter and may cost the advertiser 25 to 50% more than ROP rates. Color advertising is available in many newspapers on an ROP basis. Because of their high-speed presses and porous paper stock, newspapers are not noted for high-quality color printing. The cost of a color ad is usually based on the black and white rate plus an extra charge for each additional color. Many newspapers and magazines offer split runs so that advertisers can test the pulling power of different ads. The advertiser runs two ads of identical size but different content for the same product on the same day in different press runs. The idea is to eliminate as many variables as possible. By measuring responses to the two ads, the advertiser is able to compare and contrast the effectiveness of each. For this service, newspapers typically charge extra and set a minimum space requirement. When advertisers place an ad, they submit an insertion order to the newspaper stating the date or dates on which the ad is to run, its size, the desired position, the rate, and the type of artwork accompanying the order. When a newspaper creates ad copy and art, it gives the advertiser a proof copy to check. In contrast, most national advertising arrives at the newspaper camera ready, either in the form of a photo print or an electronic file via email. To verify that the ad ran, the newspaper tears out the page on which the ad appears and sends it to the agency or advertiser. Today, most tear sheets for national advertisers are handled through a private central office, the Advertising Checking Bureau.